amazing breadth of efforts to drive social change, from environmental justice, immigration, housing crisis, criminal justice reform, and many, many other issues. Tides provides a platform from which to advance this work. Our platform solutions include incubation and fiscal sponsorship, advocacy, policy guidance, value planning and grants management, social impact consulting and investing, collective initiatives, and convenings like this one. More to the point of today's event, 64% of our fiscal sponsored projects are led by women, and 134 of our current philanthropic partners and projects are focused on advancing the work of women and girls in gender justice. In the past 10 years, through the generosity and strategic, you're very good, and strategic recommendations of our partners, we have been able to steward more than $45 million to lift the voices and advance the range of socio-economic development for women and girls. And now to speak a little more about our action programs, here's Luis.
Great. So we also, as Alex mentioned, run Tides Advocacy, which is a sister organization within the Tides Network. And it's a network of over 70 projects and funders that are working to build progressive political power and build strong social movements through community organizing, advocacy, and policy change. At Tides, we're really proud to support really inspiring efforts. For example, we work with Frida, which is the only global collective fund run by young feminists, supporting and committed to emerging young feminist organizations. And then we also work with Lift Louisiana, an advocacy group that is working to advance health outcomes for women and girls with a focus on reproductive justice. This is just a little bit of a sample in terms of the work that we're doing both in our communities and more globally. And as you can see from what Alex has mentioned and some of the work that I just shared, pursuing gender justice and supporting women's leadership is really a core commitment for Tides, which is the focus of today. So today we're really hoping that we'll just be able to connect with each other and really learn from each other's work. And with that in mind, we've invited you to come up with a hashtag on your name tags, really describing something that you're working on or something that's on your mind. And after the speakers are done kind of sharing some of their insights, I'd invite you to find someone who you don't know and learn a little bit about what's on their minds or what they're working on, 5 to 10 minutes. So we're really excited by this turnout. Thank you all for coming, and we hope that this is one among many opportunities for us to connect in New York as part of the Tides community here. And thank you for your solidarity. So now let me introduce you to Kimberly Middleton, who is a Tides advisor here in New York with us, and our program host to lead you through the program. Thank you.
Everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Kimberly Middleton. I'm an advisor here in the New York Office of Client Services, and I think we're underscoring the same message. Many of you may be familiar with our San Francisco office, but tonight our aim is to bring visibility to those that are here. And we're a small team by comparison, but we're a mighty one, as you've just heard. And there's lots of Tidesters around the room that you can connect with tonight, so I hope you do that. Thank you for making the effort. I know that there's so many amazing events around town this week and next week. I've heard there's also a dance party tonight. So be sure to fuel up before you head out with your dancing shoes on. There's food and wine, and please make yourself comfortable tonight. So why are we here tonight? This is meant to be an open, inclusive space for sharing your work and to learn from each other, to be in community with each other, to strategize together, to share stories, to deepen partnerships and celebrate women's leadership and the contributions of those in this room as we learn about the very real world challenges that they face in their strides towards gender equity and justice. This room is meant to give us all an opportunity to engage with the wider network of Tides and to expand the network of those that are here. Those in this room may be connected to Tides as a donor, as a fiscal sponsored social venture, a tenant, a grantee, or more than one of these. And that's the diversity of our social impact network. And where there is diversity, there's power. I truly believe in the power of our platform and our ability to accelerate the pace of social change. And I'm so thankful to have this opportunity for Tides to continue its role as convener and connector, especially here in New York, and excited to introduce you to some of our partners who will be speaking tonight. Women's March Global, Women Have Wings, and Go Rising all bring visibility to women and girls leadership, and they lead vibrant networks. They also help to strengthen in-country movement building and grassroots-led social change. While there are key differences in their work and how they engage with the Tides platform, there are also common threads in their strategies and include organizing, public engagement, and education. As the advisor to two of our partners here tonight, I'm continually inspired by their work and the changes they are making in the world. Just to share a quick word about the format of our program, we're going to hear quick lightning talks from each speaker, so you can know a bit more about who's in the room and who you may want to connect with after. So we hope that you'll learn more about each other and with each other, and potentially further your mission with new partners and allies. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Women's March Global to the stage. So a quick introduction to Mishra-Newbery. She's the Interim Executive Director of Women's March Global. Women's March Global's tagline is mobilize globally, organize locally. Women's March Global is a fiscally sponsored project of Tides, and comes to us for support around governance, compliance, human resources, accounting services, which lets Uma and her team, gives them the freedom to focus on building capacity, fundraising, and scaling impact. So please talk about your work.
Hi everybody, good evening. We're actually going to start with a video that's 6 minutes in length. I need to provide a trigger warning that this video does contain dialogue of abuse and sexual violence.
My name is Diana, and I was born in fled Saudi Arabia to Australia to seek asylum. I stopped in the Philippines for My name is Diana, and I was born fled Saudi Arabia to Australia to seek asylum. I stopped in the Philippines for translate. They took my passport and locked me for 13 hours just because I'm a Saudi woman with the cooperation of Saudi embassy. If my family come, they will kill me. If I go back to Saudi Arabia, I will be dead. Please help me. I'm recording this video to help me and know that I'm real and here. The Philippines government is Saudi violating human rights under international law.
No, you need to come. You need to come so you can file the report. I'm telling them that I can't come. I'm in prison in the house. I was just abused and the door are locked. Why can't you just come and just save me? And they don't come. They want you to come, and not just the fact that they want you to come, they want you to bring one of the male members of your family. No matter how age you are, they still want like a male to be with you, to escort you. And so as I said, I just want to live with peace, and I just want to feel safe. And if you can't offer me a safe environment, to live inside my country, then just let me leave. You can't imprison me for that. It's just been too long for me, and trying to find ways, but the system is just every time that knocked me down, and if this video went public, make sure that something happened to me and that I'm not safe anymore. I've never been safe, but that means really something happened to me. And my father is responsible for that. And my name is Amna, and I'm 22 years old. And I'm making this video from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
This is the reality that women and girls face in Saudi Arabia under male guardianship. It is a devastating one. And this is what we at Women's March Global are fighting so desperately to change. My name is Mishra-Newbery. I am the Interim Executive Director for Women's March Global. How many of you marched January 21st, 2017? Amazing. How many of you know someone that marched January 21st, 2017? How many of you watched in awe, looking at the photos and videos from around the world as women and allies gathered in a global day of unity that has never been seen before in history? Almost every single person in this room. That day, January 21st, 2017, millions of people who would never before call themselves activists or human rights defenders poured out onto the streets because they knew, as we all in this room know, that we must use our voice because the time is so critically urgent in regards to human rights abuses around the world. Our mission at Women's March Global is to advance women's human rights at the local level. The reason for this is incredibly simple, because still, in 2019, billions of women around the world lack basic access to human rights. It's a stark reality. If we talk about Saudi Arabia, we at Women's March Global understand that women's issues are not separate and siloed. We know that the experiences of male guardianship are not separate from the experiences that women face under oppression and silencing and torture as activists. We know that the experience that Saudi women human rights defenders who are now more than 300 days in prison are not separate from those of what is happening in Yemen. We know that these issues are incredibly connected, and we have turned marching into action. We help grassroots organizations change human rights within their communities. Tides has helped us. As you all know, we did not start as an organization, we started as a movement. We've been able to be stable and utilize their resources so that we could grow. The bold solution that we are working on to drive social change is that we are placing the power of change in the hands of women and allies globally by providing tools, by providing access, by providing community. I invite each and every one of you to find myself or one of our team members. You can find us by these stickers, or anyone who's holding up one of our campaign cards for Free Saudi Activists, and come and talk to us. We would love to speak with you. Thank you so much. I now have the very distinct pleasure of introducing a woman I absolutely adore, Catherine Daval-Jones from Collective Agency. Catherine has worked with us at Women's March Global from the very beginning. The very first live stream of those global marches, that was Catherine. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Catherine. It's an absolute honor to be here. And so many of us spend our days, who I frankly might not survive without, like doing the admin work, like writing the contracts, in my case, like corralling the creatives. And it's such a gift to be reminded of why we do the work that we do. And now I'll tell you why we do the work, who I am and what we do. So I'm Catherine Jones. I'm the founder of Collective Agency. Collective Agency, well, November 8, 2016 for me was the day that changed my life. It changed who I want to be in this world as a woman, as an entrepreneur, and as an artist. I owned a production company prior to that. And a week later, I found myself in a room full of activists, volunteering to run what was then a group of volunteer creatives dedicated to amplifying the voices of the resistance. We started as 40 New York-based professional digital media creatives dedicated to resisting our current president. We are now 250 professional media creatives around the country. We are now called Collective. We changed our name. We're called Collective Agency because collectively we are taking agency and we provide creative resources to progressive and social good orgs. We've had the great joy to work with organizations like Indivisible and Swing Left and Women's March Global, who are I feel like my sisters in everything. We have had the great joy to do the global live stream for them for the past 3 years. Some other great creative work, the launch of their platform as well. And lots of smaller orgs as well, like we got to work with Just Leadership to work on a Close Rikers campaign. So our bold vision is, well, we all know, we know this from the last campaign, that media is the way that people communicate. We were having this conversation earlier about Instagram. The way people get their news, the way people communicate, the way people change their minds is through media. And we are gathering creatives from around the country to work with organizations from around the country in an extremely cost-effective way to amplify their voices and to give them the highest level professional services so that no one forgets who we are and what we're fighting for.
To invite to the stage Eliza Willison, who is the co-founder and managing director of Women Have Wings. The tagline for Women Have Wings is sharing courage, building hope, taking flight. Women Have Wings is a grant-making vehicle at Tides and comes to us for support with complex international grant-making to help maximize their social impact.